song sheet. Pink song sheet. All right. So we're going to open up with a song called Sukkot Shalom. It's going to set the vibe for the Sukkah, the holiday Sukkot, the prayer Ma'ariv Aravim. We're going to do the first verse and the chorus. Don't stress too much about too many of the words, but listen to that Sukkot Shalom refrain as it comes around in the chorus. So that's the key there. All right, here we go. Stars above me blinking, they must know just what I'm thinking. It's so empty and so cold alone at night. The wind whips up around me and I'm kinda glad it's found me, 'cause when it blows, I know I'll be alright. A kiss from God with each little leaf that drops upon my head. Oh, how small we all must feel when the sky becomes our blanket and the ground below becomes our bed. But in this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. In this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. Your Sukkot Shalom. Let's do the chorus again. Here we go. But in this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. In this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. Your Sukkot Shalom.
Welcome and Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach, which means happy holiday, because it is now the very beginning of Sukkot, because we have not had a holiday in a while, and it's about time for something special to happen in Jewish life. So here we are. I think we have a nice intimate crowd tonight. I think people all know each other. There's just one, yeah, okay. Well, just so you don't have to introduce yourself to anyone, just say Shabbat Shalom to someone around you. Shabbat Shalom. Because we're the friendly temple. We're the friendly temple people at home. If anyone is not able to get here tonight, welcome to you. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Andy Sussman and Ruth Pavlo for sharing their musical gifts with us. Thank you to Xavier for the tech. And Matthew is not here tonight. That's right, I think he told me that. So that's okay. We're a little lonely up here, but it's just us. So welcome. I want to say something about Sukkot before we start. So Sukkot is called Zaman Simchatenu, which means the time of our rejoicing, which is a nice change from the 10 days we just went through, which are a little reflective, sometimes bordering on dark, and now we have the time of our rejoicing. So I wanted to share a couple of words from Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, who was the chief rabbi of Great Britain for a little bit, about that. So what Rabbi Sacks said is, that to me is the wonder at the heart of the Jewish experience, that Jews throughout the ages were able to experience risk and uncertainty at every level of their existence, and yet, while they sat under the sukkah, and there's a mystical expression from the Zohar, which is under the shadow of faith, meaning under the sukkah, but it's like a spiritual phrase, they were able to rejoice. So even though there was risk, there was uncertainty, they were able to sit in the sukkah and rejoice. That is spiritual courage of a high order. And then Rabbi Sacks says, I have often argued that faith is not certainty, faith is the courage to live with uncertainty. And isn't that what we all do all the time? Because that's life, is when things are uncertain, we still rejoice and have hope and enjoy whatever life we have. So we begin with the singing of Shalom Aleichem, which is our song to the angels, the special Shabbat angels that come into our midst on Shabbat. And Shalom Aleichem is on page 142.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bochem L'Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ya la 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 Barchuni l'shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzidchem l'shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 la
And I'd like to call up the Zaphrans, to Bruce and Leslie, to light our candles and recite the blessing, which is on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
Yesher Koach, thank you. We continue with Chatzi Kaddish, page 144. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
B'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlech malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei decho beit Yisrael bagala uvizman kariv v'emeru amen Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach li'alam alal me'al maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha berichu la'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damihiran bialma v'yemeru amen. Baruch Hu on page 146, and you may rise.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la.
On page 150 is our Ahavat Olam prayer, which talks about Ahava being the word for love. Ahavat Olam is God's love of the world, or depending on your sense of what God is, the love that is in the world, the love that sustains us, that nurtures us. And we will be singing together our song Sukkot Shalom, which ties, first of all, to what I skipped over, which is Ma'ariv Aravim, the sense of the beauty of the night sky. You are supposed to see the stars through the top of your sukkah. It cannot be closed off. It has to be somewhat open so you can see the sky. And then it goes into a sense of this Sukkot Shalom is like a blanket of love that surrounds me. In the openness of the sukkah, I can feel the love that protects me that is all over the world. And I want to point out that I had just read from Eliana Light, is the songwriter, Jewish singer-songwriter, and teacher, prayer teacher, who wrote this song. And I just read something very powerful from her, that she had a number of difficult emotional issues throughout her young life, and one of the things was not liking herself very much, not liking her body very much, doing some things that actually hurt her body, and she wanted to specifically come up with music and prayers that would get across, and especially to young people, the importance of being loving not only to others, but being loving to yourself and caring for yourself and caring for your body. So whenever I see her work now, I think of that's an important theme for her. So we continue with the song we opened with, which is Sukkot Shalom, on your song sheet.
Stars above me blinking, they must notice what I'm thinking. It's so empty and so cold alone at night. The wind whips up around me and I'm kinda glad it's found me, 'cause when it blows I know I'll be alright. A kiss from God with each little leaf that drops upon my head. How small we almost feel when the sky becomes our blanket and the ground below becomes our bed. But in this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. This Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. Your Sukkot Shalom. The sky is getting dimmer, but I still can see a glimmer of a sliver of the moon to light my way. There is no one beside me, and I have no map to guide me, but even so I know I'll be okay. The world seems scary and confused each time it drifts into the dark. But I know that you are there. Your light can fill the air, and all it takes is just one spark. But in this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. In this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. One more time. But in this Sukkot Shalom, your love surrounds me. It's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. In this Shalom, your love surrounds me. Sukkot Shalom, it's all around me. I know I'm safe and protected in this world that is your home. Your Sukkot Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim.
We continue with Shema on page 152. You may rise.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. Page 158. As we talked about the theme of Sukkot, rejoicing in the face of uncertainty and unknown future. That's the song Mi Chamocha in a nutshell. Leaving Egypt, not knowing what's coming next, but looking ahead with joy and hope. So in the spirit of Sukkot and the spirit of the Exodus, Mi Chamocha, page 158.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ami chamocha ba elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la.
Haporei Sukkot Shalom, page 160. This prayer ends with the image of a sukkah. So it may seem ironic. Why is our nighttime our prayer for protection at night, which is exactly what Hashkivenu is, on page 160, our prayer for protection at night. Why is it using, after asking for defense and shields and shelters against enemies and war and famine and sorrow, why is the image that is used God whose sukkah of shalom, whose sukkah of peace is spread over us? What is less a symbol of being defended against war than a sukkah, which is the flimsiest possible structure, and it has to be a flimsy structure. It is a requirement that it is a flimsy structure. And maybe there's a lot of weird ironies in Sukkot, but they represent the truth of life, which is honestly, even though sometimes we think the way to protect ourselves is to put up barriers and walls and not have any contact with anyone, the truth is actually the opposite, that the only way we can move toward a world that is more safe, that is more peaceful, is by reaching out to all kinds of people, by connecting to all kinds of people, by listening and hearing the experiences and perspectives of others in hopes that they will listen to the perspectives that we have, that we come with, and that's how we build a world of safety, is by being open to those around us. So we are continuing with Jeff Klepper's Hashkivenu, which really emphasizes this piece, Haporei Sukkot Shalom.
Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom, ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
It was 5 days ago, but I'm still so appreciative that I can drink water during services. I get really excited about that. For weeks after Yom Kippur, I'm still grateful that I can drink water during services. Yay! Okay, V'shamru, page 162. Yeah. You're not bar mitzvah yet, so you've got another year coming up. You don't need your book. Don't need your book. So we have some leaders, and where we have leaders, we must have followers, so people need to all follow. V'shamru on page 162 is from the book of Exodus, about how this Shabbat day is a sign of the loving relationship between God and the people of Israel. So I think you all know this, but follow the experts up here.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat Nasoret Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל השבת מסורת השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל השבת מסורת השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל השבת מסור את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל השבת מסור את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Thank you, Yasher Koach, to all. Thank you. And we continue with the tefillah, the central portion of our worship service on page 164. And if you're able, you may rise.
Yai lai 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 Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid. Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'Neihem, Leman Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha bal gevurot, Umidom melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanat al hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shemcha kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We continue with a moment of silent reflection, either with the words in your prayer book or the words of our hearts, and you may continue either standing or sitting.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. היי יא לה 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 יא לה 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו
Our thoughts and prayers go out to all who are in need of emotional healing, physical healing, within our community or around the world. On this Shabbat, we especially think of David Appel, Carolyn Bouchard, Ethan Campbell, Sandra Chesler, Daniel Urchik, Joseph Ehrlichman, Sandra Friedland, Shar Friedman, Roy Zabat Shmuel Uvat Sheva, Tracy Janetta, Julian Kaner, Erwin Kostrinsky, Marion Kostrinsky, Michael Levin, Mark Merberg, Arnold Reamer, Melinda Robbins, Rosalie Saltiel, Louise Samuels, Maxine Shapiro, Bobby Sherman-Gieshin, Herman Spring, Andrea Teeple, Carla Teich, Katie Weinstock, Lori Weinstock, Bat Sheba. Are there others we wish to think of?
dear friends Chico and Susan Moss, and a friend Henry Laderfind.
We join in our traditional prayer for healing, Mishaberach, on page 109.
Mishaberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Sukkot is full of interpretations. Most people know a number of things maybe they heard as kids or older. I mean, there's all kinds of symbolism ascribed to the sukkah and to our main symbols of Sukkot, our lulav and etrog, and we'll say the blessings for those in a couple of minutes. But I wanted to just bring up a few of the interesting themes of Sukkot. So there are two major rabbinic, so when I say rabbinic, I mean the early rabbis of 2,000 years ago who were the ones who really shaped modern Judaism. That's what I mean by rabbinic. So there are two explanations that sometimes are held up as not conflicting with each other, but kind of different takes on the holiday. One is Rabbi Akiva's, and Rabbi Akiva says the sukkah is a symbol of the physical huts that the Israelites lived in while they were wandering in the desert for 40 years. So that's one. Raise your hand if you've heard that interpretation. Only a couple. Interesting, because a lot of people, that's the one they've heard of. Interesting. Okay, so a few have heard that one. This one you probably haven't heard. This is Rabbi Eliezer, who said the sukkah represents, also back to the Israelites wandering in the desert, represents the cloud of glory. So that was, if you recall from the Torah readings, when the Israelites were sort of led by God's presence, and that during the day God would appear as a cloud, and at night God would appear as fire, and they would follow the cloud or the fire where they were, and that would protect the Israelites. So you could say, what are these two interpretations about? Well, you could say many things, but one thing that strikes me is that Rabbi Akiva is talking about more of a semi-historical view of the sukkah. The sukkah is to remind us of a time in the past when the Israelites were going through, they had left Egypt, but otherwise they weren't too thrilled because they were nowhere. They didn't know where they were going. They didn't have very much. They were nomads. They were wandering. And if you think about the Rabbi Akiva symbolism, it's very much like at Passover when we have to remember that we were slaves in Egypt. Because why? Because as it says in the Torah, supposedly 36 times, I haven't read it, I haven't counted, but supposedly 36 times it says, you know what it's like to be a stranger. You were slaves, you were outsiders, you know how you were treated. You have to remember that experience because that has to give you empathy for other people in your time who are going through the same thing. So it says that in Torah over and over and over and over and over. That's clearly a big message of the Passover Seder. Remember this because there's other people today who are going through that same thing, and you have a responsibility to them. And to me, thinking of the sukkah representing when we lived simply with not very much, maybe not even enough, is another reminder to us. Remember, at some point, probably for an extended period of time, many of us are from Eastern European peasant Jews. I am, a lot of you probably are, and who didn't have very much and who were living in a strange place where they didn't have rights and couldn't be citizens. Remember that history because it helps you be a better, more sensitive, more empathetic person. So that, again, to me, and we could have a whole discussion about it, but that to me is kind of what I see in Rabbi Akiva's interpretation. Rabbi Eliezer's interpretation is a sign of the spirituality and the godliness and the holiness that surrounds us, right? His sense of the sukkah is the cloud that represented this, a cloud is not really a tangible thing. So the mystery of the godliness and God who protected us on our journey. And, it's interesting because you do probably think of that more in the sukkah, because when you're out in a sukkah, it could be blown away by the wind. I don't know if the TBO sukkah has ever been blown away by the wind, but other temples I've been at have absolutely had sukkahs that were completely blown away by wind. And the rain can come in, and it's very fragile. And it is more likely that you're going to feel the grandeur of what is beyond, and also your frailness, your fragility in a sukkah than you are in something like this, where we have air conditioning and we have electric lights and we have insulation. And when you're inside an actual building, you tend to not feel that same sense as you do when you're outside. So I bring that up to say the sukkah could represent a semi-historical past living in simplicity, or it could represent the general spirituality that surrounds us that maybe we're not often in touch with. Okay, another theme from Sukkot is, I think it's very interesting. This is a big theme of mine that people often don't notice, is the holidays, the Jewish holidays don't exist in little islands all separate from each other. There's a flow to them. So notice this time of year, how we've moved from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, 5 days later to Sukkot. I think it's really interesting at Yom Kippur, we were in this room talking about the fragility of life and kind of the somber seriousness of that. Life is fragile, we're temporary. You have to live consciously, you have to live with awareness, you have to live with purpose. It's a very serious kind of use of that theme. 5 days later, we're in Zman Simchatenu. We're at, hey, it's fun. We have to rejoice. It's a mitzvah. Let's have fun. We're going to go out in the sukkah where it's really fragile and temporary, and we're going to have a great time, and we're going to party out there. So it's taking the exact same theme and like kind of turning it on its head just 5 days later. And I think that's really interesting. I think this is all life, because life is a mix of all things that are opposite. It's like saying, life is fragile, you're gonna die. I mean, we like, who shall live and who shall die? It's like so intense. And pay attention, and then 5 days later, yeah, we don't know. Who's gonna live, who's gonna die? We don't know. Let's drink and have a party. Okay, you know, you can go either way with that. So moving from Yom Kippur to Sukkot. One other thing that I noticed moving from Yom Kippur to Sukkot, remember on Yom Kippur, we have a lot of prayers where we're praying as a Jewish people. So there's a lot of like, you know, Ashamnu, Bagadnu. The new ending, okay, I could quiz Elijah here, but I won't, because I didn't tell you about this one. But the 7th grade, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the fact that a bunch of Hebrew words, lots of Hebrew words, especially at the High Holy Days, have new at the end. Do you happen to remember what that means? When new's at the end? Okay, I won't put them on the spot. It means hour. It's all about hour. So we have done these things that aren't, maybe each individual didn't, but we as a Jewish people, these are the things that we confess that we have done wrong. Al chet shachatanu lefanecha. We have done these things. So it's very, very communal. We're responsible for one another. And so we're very much gearing ourselves to the Jewish people. We're looking at ourselves as a Jewish people. 5 days later, Sukkot is the most universalistic of holidays, the most totally universal holiday. It's supposed to be universal. You're supposed to have guests in your sukkah, Jewish guests, imaginary guests. Some people have invite people from the Bible who obviously aren't physically alive anymore. But you know, you're supposed to have even symbolic visitors. You're supposed to have actual visitors and have them over and have the enjoy in your sukkah. Also, I mean, the openness of the sukkah, the fact that the sukkah is open, and the lulav needs to be shaken, yeah, that's right, shaken in every direction. And even rabbinically, we learn that's to say all the nations of the world share. God is with all the nations of the world, all peoples and cultures in the world. We're all part of the same God. And so we kind of move on Yom Kippur to being very focused on the Jewish people, and at Sukkot, looking out, seeing the holiness everywhere in all people and all religions. So when we shake out not only the lulav, but we shake out ourselves. We celebrate freedom and being open and enjoying this uncertain, wacky, unstable world that we live in, and saying, okay, this is what it is. And those of you in Tanakh know, because we've been reading from the biblical book of Kohelet, which is the book that you read on Sukkot, which is the book that says, I could probably ask you guys, you know, life is short and then you die. So what should you do while you're here? You should eat and drink and enjoy. So interesting as we move from Yom Kippur to Sukkot. So we have a couple of blessings, and Andy and I didn't talk about this at all. Should I do the blessing for the lulav? Do you want to sing it, or doesn't matter? So this I did. Okay, now I am going to quiz Elijah, because we talked about how there are blessings that are 6-finger blessings and blessings that are 10-finger blessings. The 10-finger blessings, including the words Asher, Kidshanu, B'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu. Elijah, what are the 10-finger blessings for? A mitzvah. See how brilliant our TBO children are. So yes, so we have a 10-finger blessing for the lulav because it includes Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvah tavitzivanu, because it's a mitzvah to shake the lulav. And the last three words are al nitilat lulav, which means for the taking of the lulav. So this part, I always have to look, okay, this is in right hand. Etrog is left hand. It is pitom down. It is together. You're facing east. Okay, and then when the blessing's over, you turn the pitom up. So, so do you want to do the lulav blessing, or should I?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat lulav.
Want to do Shechayanu too?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Some people do it 3 times, 2 times, shake, whatever. I mean, it's whatever you want to do. So kind of towards your heart, like you're taking it in towards your heart. And just so you know, the down, don't turn this upside down. That's not a good idea. Just down like that. When you turn it upside down, everything comes out and it makes a mess and you can never quite get it back correctly. So there you go. So we are, after the service, have an oneg outside. I have no idea what it's doing out. We have outside under the overhang, but also the sukkah is ready. I'll carry these out if anybody wants to shake the lulav in the sukkah. And that's it. That's the lulav shake that we'll be doing later. So Stan, are you doing announcements? You're standing up, so. Come on down. Stan Klein, our duty trustee. Cool.
Welcome. Welcome. Happy New Year. And again, I can't whistle, I don't think, so I won't even try. Thank you, Rabbi. What a great year this was, and will be, will continue. And Andy, and Ruth, and Xavier. And I was kind of looking for Matthew, but is he okay? Is he out drinking bourbon or what? Okay. All right, good deal. Tonight's oneg is outside, and it's in the sukkah that was built 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And Rabbi, you selected the sukkah, so.
So it's my fault. If it falls in on anyone, I guess I'll be sued. Okay.
Oh, okay, we'll blame the wind. But it was a TBO effort building that sukkah. I stayed out of it. I sat on the sidelines, and therefore it was done. We have onegs. I'm not going to repeat what I say all the time. We have a lot of onegs and a lot of food, a lot of stuff. Tomorrow we have Torah and me, okay, on Zoom at 9 o'clock. Tuesday we have Tanakh. The subject has changed, right? No more kings.
That's true. We're in Kohelet right now, which is perfect for Sukkot. That's what we're doing right now.
Oh, okay.
We're reading our way through the whole end of the Bible.
Now, I was told Wednesday is Pizza in the Hut?
Pizza in the Hut, 5:30.
Pizza Hut? Oh, Pizza in the Hut. Oh, okay.
Pizza in the Hut. There are flyers outside if you would like.
Very good. I'm excited about that. Bingo on Thursday. I'd like to thank anybody involved in bingo. And we have our 2 players, okay, Dolores and Ann. Every week they come play and give me money, and I love it. And really, I appreciate this support. Support, not stand at Temple. Next Friday, Simchas Torah,
Yeah,
right?
just one right after the next.
Oh,
Yep.
wonderful. Book club, November 19th. Mahjong every week, canasta. If you haven't done so already, get in your Kol Nidre donation. And we're really working on activities for this year. If anybody has wonderful ideas, even you, Elijah, just tell us and we'll try it. So, see you.
That was an abrupt ending. Yeah, Simchat Torah you don't want to miss. Simchat Torah is a fantastic holiday. We dance and march around with the Torahs and the flags, and we open the entire Torah scroll up all the way, and our bar mitzvah students, including Elijah, will stand in front of their Torah portions, and I'll say a little about that. And you get like the quick tour of the Torah scroll and candy apples at the end. So your dentist will love that. Any other announcements? I guess that is all I can think of right now. So, Aleinu, on page 586, I'd like to call up Fran and Billy Kraft. You're becoming our permanent I think you've done this a few times in the last month. You do such a good job that we just keep calling you back. And Aleinu, page 586, and you may rise. Making sure you stay awake.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל העולם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Thank you, and Yasher Koach. And you may be seated.
More practice, he couldn't find it.
We'll have ARC opening and closing rehearsals Wednesday at 4 from now on, if anyone interested. We remember those who are no longer with us, but are very much with us in spirit, in our hearts, in our memories, in all the ways they brought their unique gifts to our world. On this Shabbat, we think of, during her time of Shiva, Cheryl Lynn Suarez, mother of Gil Suarez. During their time of Shloshim, Carol Raff, aunt of Bonnie Singer, Edward Kaplan, husband of Judy Kaplan, Sandra Cooperman, sister of Bob Hopp, Hannah Cardin, mother of Belle Reynolds, and Sheila Rosenberg, cousin of Sandra Bisson. And those whose yahrzeits fall this week: Lillian Barzilai, Ruth Cohen, Theodore Conrad, Leo E. David, Felix Fred Farber, Ruth Feinstein, David Griefer, Richard Gurian, Joseph Hendler, Helen Marcus Jankelson, Alexander A. Clore, Murray Cobert, Ira Lerner, Dora Levy, Hirsch Nuchowitz, Laura Oni, Max Selikowitz, Lena Shear, Samuel Silver, Abraham Skornicki, George Arthur Steele, Nathan David Stern, Sylvia Rosenthal Wolins. Are there others we wish to remember? We honor all of their memories as we join together in Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
B'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei rechol Beit Yisrael. B'gala uvizman kari v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach la'alam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran bi'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. V'yimru, v'yimru, v'yimru. Amen. V'yimru, v'yimru, v'yimru. Amen. You may be seated. We move from our sacred prayer of memory to the joy of Shabbat and the joy of Sukkot, and so it's double joy as we call up Trudy and Elijah Aronson to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. And Elijah, you want to carry the challah over? I don't force anyone to do anything, but here you go. Put that there. And here is yours, and there's yours. And you may raise up and remember the instructions. Raise up the cup. Kiddush is on page 123. Get us started.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Gafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemahaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
It's grape juice. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. You may eat your challah as we do the lulav shake, which is on your song sheet. Sure. Come on, Peter.
Sukkot is a harvest holiday. Celebration lasts for 7 days. We build our sukkah, then we decorate a special booth in which we congregate. Do the lulav shake,
shake, shake, shake.
do the lulav shake, shake, shake.
Do the lulav shake, shake, shake.
Do the lulav shake. Symbols of Sukkot are quite unique. They show God's presence the entire week. Etrog smell, it gets into the air. We wave the lulav everywhere. Do the lulav shake, shake, shake. Do the lulav shake, shake, shake. Do the lulav shake, shake, shake. Do the lulav shake. One more time. Do the lulav shake, shake, shake. Do the lulav shake, shake, shake. Do the lulav shake, shake, shake. Do the lulav shake.
Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, and sticker.
We're going to meet you out in the sukkah, right? No?